Hi there, here viewers of Equinoxe Television, 6 p.m. by 6 o'clock. Thank you so much for joining us on this edition of the news. We begin right away with our major stories. Cameroon remains one of the most corrupt countries in Africa and also in the world, reason for which the Anti-Corruption Commission in Cameroon is seeking ways of reversing that trend. Equinoxe has also created another strategy to combat corruption. It is known as the Anti-Corruption Clinic. We will be telling you more about that in this newscast, and also in this edition of the news, we take you to Yassa in the $3 area where insecurity is set to be on the rise and disorder is reigning in that locality. Stay with us for details and more. Welcome back, viewers. We begin this edition of the news in Yassa. Yassa is a locality in the Douala 3 subdivision of the Littoral region. Our reporters who made a stop over in Yassa today say insecurity is reigning in Yassa and disorder is also on the rise. This is because of the lack of street lights in that area. Our reporter Lucy Liengu Esia made a stop over at Yassa. This is what she saw and heard.
The presence of this clandestine park in Yassa Douala 3 subdivision, according to inhabitants, has brought a lot of insecurity in the locality. Locals say a day hardly goes by without an incident.
Nous vivons des scènes ahurissantes ici avec cette gare qui s'est créée là.
We live in fear with the creation of this park. A lot of things are going on here. Many tend to minimize it. People are being attacked here every day. We have drivers here who exercise a lot of brutality. Even council workers are not left out. So I think this has favored a lot of insecurity in this area. To me, this park is not supposed to be here. It really disturbs. Sometimes while passing, you hear someone calling. You don't know who, but we see frightful faces here. This is very serious.
Parce que vous interpellez, vous ne savez pas qui ils sont. Ils sont visiblement très affreux.
Others on their part say the clandestine motor park along the road has created traffic congestion. We face a lot of difficulties every day, accidents here and there. If the council could help increase the size of the road, it would be great. But every day we see them instead collecting money from these women who sell here. It really contributes to nothing. The presence of the park is not just causing insecurity, but contributing to the littering of death around. Inhabitants complain it is affecting their health. Workers of these parks say it's been 5 years since its creation, and this has been their only source of income. They are calling on the authorities concerned to see into creating a park when necessary.
Lucille Yengo is here reporting on clandestine parks in Yassa leading to insecurity. And talking about insecurity, Immaculate Fogwe in the report which comes up next tells us that insecurity is said to be on the rise, and also disorder is reigning still in Yassa in the Douala 3 area. She says it is because of the absence of electricity and also security posts. They are urging the government to see into that plight. Let's now have more with Immaculate Fogwe.
Insecurity is gaining grounds in the Carrefour Yassa neighborhood, Douala 3 subdivision. Due to this, inhabitants and those doing business there say they have been living in fear. Consequently, shop owners close their shops early while others are planning to leave the neighborhood. I have been a victim 2 or 3 times. They have tried seizing my phone, but luckily I managed to escape. I have never been a victim, but I have relatives who have been attacked. Their handbags, purses, phones and other valuable items have been seized by robbers. Something needs to be done to address this problem. According to locals, these bandits take advantage of traffic jam and the absence of street lights to attack their victims. Some of those we interviewed were so scared of denouncing their activities for fear of being attacked again. The population are urging the government to step up the presence of the forces of law and order in the area.
And now, still talking about the structures or the state of roads in Cameroon, we now take you to the central region of the country, where inhabitants of Yoko say life in that subdivision used to be unbearable before the construction of the road linking Yoko and Lena in the National Road number 15. A reporter for Me Armstrong Sander tells us that Yoko lived in staggering enclavement for over 50 years. Let's have his report.
Naturally placed on the strategic National Road number 15, being one of the largest subdivisions in Cameroon, Yoko in the Bam and Kim Division, central region of Cameroon, didn't know a tarred road for over 50 years.
Pendant 50 ans, on n'avait jamais suivi.
Mayor Dieudonné Ani of Yoko Council says Yoko lived in endurance throughout the period. A period of endurance that had an unbearable say on movement and economic activities between Yoko and Tibati.
On faisait les 4 heures, 5 heures du temps pour arriver à Yoko.
Musa Kome, a driver on the Tibati-Yoko stretch, says the bad road got them spending over 5 to 6 hours from Yoko to Tibati and vice versa. A time and energy consuming exercise which was also very expensive, according to trader Nubitang Azog, who says they used to pay 6,000 francs CFA for the journey, which now costs 3,000 francs.
Je sais pas combien de collectivités.
The mayor says Yoko is a symbol of patience and they are happy to have the road constructed now with its accompanying advantages.
On n'avait jamais suivi qu'il y a eu une étincelle ici. On attendait notre tour et notre tour est arrivé.
From darkness to light, locals say Yoko is now bidding farewell to enclavement and underdevelopment with the completion of construction works on the Yoko-Lena stretch of the National Road number 15. Throughout over 60 kilometers, locals say movement and by extension, economic activities have been facilitated. Away from works on the main stretches, locals say secondary stretches have been tarred with beautiful structures raised in the town of Yoko. The journey between Yoko and Tibati now lasts 2 hours, and locals say the new road has opened the door to many opportunities which they intend to maximize.
And now we talk about this ill plaguing Cameroon, which is called corruption. Cameroon remains one of the most corrupt nations across the world. In Africa, to be more precise, the National Anti-Corruption Commission is seeking ways of reversing the trend. That is why Equinoxe has created recently another strategy called the Anti-Corruption Clinic. Babila Jonathan completes the story.
A victim of corruption presents documents backing up his complaint to investigators of the National Anti-Corruption Commission, the NAC, in Douala. The billion francs CFA matter is one of the corruption cases brought to what the NAC calls Anti-Corruption Clinic. Speaking to the press, the NAC chairman, Reverend Dr. Dieudonné Massigams, says the Anti-Corruption Clinic is intended to step up the fight against corruption in Cameroon. The fight by the National Anti-Corruption Commission, other institutions, and even Operation Sparrowhawk has been going on for several years, but the ill continues increasing and eating deep into the marrows of the Republic.
We work in collaboration with the court, and we do also investigation, and the result that we find, we give it to the court. But if we find on the field that what we called in French flagrant délit, then we go straight to the court and we give the information and evidences of that we have found so as to give sanction.
To Reverend Dr. Dieudonné Massigams, his institution is bringing the anti-corruption fight closer to the population so that they can fulfill their duties to help reduce corruption in Cameroon.
The duty is to denounce, and Equinoxe has the responsibility to go on and to do investigation and to present those who are guilty where they must go. Don't expose yourself. If you have something to tell, to say, if you have a denunciation to do, come and meet Equinoxe. you will be protected.
Ahead of December 9, set aside for the fight against corruption by the United Nations, NAC officials and experts are on the ground in Douala, tracking down corruption and those found guilty.
And now reports say at least 1 million children across the world are behind bars and usually in deplorable prison conditions, reason for which UNICEF is organizing workshops in the northern regions of Cameroon to seek reasons why children come in conflict with the law. Let's now have more with Mara Glory.
Most children behind bars are either detained for poor behavior or other crimes. To address these causes which bring children in conflict with the law was the objective of a 3-day workshop in the Far North region organized by UNICEF. This to protect their rights and guarantee a better education. To examine entirely the right of children, this workshop has as well permitted you to identify the different ways of collaborating between you and actors in charge of juvenile justice so that the children can be well taken care of. Lawyers, security officials and civil society organizations present at the event were schooled on the effective protection of children's rights.
Protecting children who have come in conflict with the law. For some years, this initiative, as far as I know, was not really that well known. But today, we are faced with, we've just concluded a 3-day workshop that has upgraded us as far as the protection of children in conflict with the law is concerned.
During the closing ceremony presided over by the representative from the Ministry of Justice, he assured the population security will be reinforced to ensure the safety of the children.
And now we stay with you in the Far North region, where a gang of suspected armed bandits have been arrested by security forces in Marwa in the Far North. They were presented to the public alongside what they stole and also other dangerous items like automatic pistols. Innocent Azer is a man on that beat.
He is not a member of the Rapid Intervention Battalion. This uniform, he says, he got from someone who helps facilitate his criminal activity, principally aggression and theft of motorbikes.
No, j'ai pris ça avec quelqu'un. Je suis parti avec la moto.
I wear it to seize bikes because there are no jobs in Cameroon.
Parce qu'il n'y a pas de travail au Cameroun. Il n'y a pas de travail au Cameroun. Non, je suis toute seule.
The stolen motorbikes, according to the police, are sold to 26-year-old Fadil, who dismantles them and sells the parts.
Vous avez vu tout le matériel que nous avons pu récupérer chez lui, c'est pratiquement un garage.
Yezida Musa, 32 years old, is also in the police dragnet for allegedly aiding the crime. Among the presented gang is 35-year-old Mohamed Salisu, accused of burglary. He was apprehended in possession of deadly objects, including an automatic pistol. Interrogated while he was keeping a pistol, he said,
I do
not know it is forbidden to buy and own a gun in Cameroon. He added he has been collaborating with the police to arrest criminals. This permitted him to buy a gun which he uses to defend himself. This operation, according to the security officers in Marwa, is just the start of a relentless move to put an end to this form of insecurity in Marwa.
From the Far North region, we take you to the West region, precisely in the Noon Division, where some suspected armed bandits also fell into the dragnet of security forces in the Noon Division. Let's now have more about the state of security or insecurity in the Noon Division with Immaculate Fogwe.
Cartridges, a pistol, SIM cards, Indian herb, daggers and phones. These are some of the items seized by elements of the Noon Gendarmerie Brigade in the course of an operation. At the explanade of the Noon Gendarmerie Brigade, an alleged thief is equally presented to the public. According to the brigade commander, The 20-year-old suspected thief is part of a gang of 4 who have been operating in the Nun Division, West region of Cameroon. One of their victims explains how he was attacked.
La nuit de lundi 28 novembre 2022.
On the 28th of November, while on my way back home at about 10 p.m., I was attacked by 4 men. They pointed a dagger on my neck, asking me to give all of my belongings. I gave them my bag, which contained money, SIM cards, and my phones. After they seized my bag, I immediately called my boss and asked him to block my SIM cards because I am a mobile money operator. According to the brigade commander, the operation was successful thanks to the collaboration of the population.
Il s'agit d'un groupe de braqueurs qui
The alleged bandits have been operating in the town for almost 3 months now. They have reportedly attacked several persons. After they attack their victims, they go seek refuge in a village known as Mawen. The population alerted us, so while on a search operation, 3 of them escaped, but we managed to arrest 1 of them.
Selon les premiers éléments que j'ai reçus, leur mode opératoire était.
According to Zeng Edu Rosni, the head of the brigade, their modus operandi is to seize the belongings of their victims while on board their motorcycles and later escape. The population has been urged to be vigilant, especially during this end-of-year period when several crime cases are reported.
And still talking about insecurity, we take you now from the Nun Division of the West region to Bamenda in the Northwest region of the country, where security forces also arrested some individuals who are involved in the fabrication of fake whiskies and wines. The local government authorities in Bamenda call on the local population to pay attention to what they consume, especially during this festive season. Let's now have more with our correspondent in Bamenda, Bustela.
It was from this product, now surrounded by flies, that wine was produced and bottled in Damukong, a neighborhood in Bamenda 3. At the same production center, whiskey is produced and packaged in sachets. A similar factory also exists at the Madagascar neighborhood in Bamenda 3. There, red wine, bottled water and body lotions are produced and packaged in containers of various sizes and shapes. This weekend, security forces uncovered both sides. The police say they were acting on tip-offs when they uncovered both factories with manufactured products ready for the markets.
We've been monitoring this activity for some time now, and we're waiting for the appropriate time to come to the field and to know exactly what is happening. As you can see, it is purely a criminal act which is punishable by law.
On the spot, Equinoxe television ran a check and discovered that one of the product's packaging did not match the product's brand, thus raising doubts on even the content. The manager, who earlier told reporters that his products were authentic and had been certified, then blamed the printers for producing fake packages.
Then I will tell you that it's something that comes from a printing person out of ignorance, because it's not what I asked him to do.
The end of year in Cameroon is often characterized by the introduction of new products into the market and heavy consumption by the population across the nation. Public health experts warn of the dangers of consuming products of doubtful quality, whose toxicity could be high with uncontrollable side effects. How then do consumers spot the difference when the products are on the shelves, when even the porous bodies and corruption make it easy for illicit trade to thrive? On the streets of Bamenda, there are growing fears of multiple organ failures. It is therefore high time, the population say, for order to be put in the sector to ensure their health.
And now we move on to Qatar to meet our special envoy, Smart Njikan Gabriel, who tells us that in order to manage the economy, Qatari authorities pay attention or focus more on improving or developing the educational infrastructure in their country. Smart Njikan Gabriel visited the education city that houses most universities in Qatar. He now tells us more in this write-up.
The aerial view shows the education city, which is at Al Rayyan in Qatar. The 12 square kilometers property is the hub of various educational facilities, including satellite campuses of 8 international universities. Launched in 1997 by the Qatar Foundation, the Education City was officially inaugurated in 2003. More than 20 years on, Education City has grown from a single school to a multi-university campus with students from over 50 countries. With an emerging economy, the Qatari authorities have placed more attention on their educational systems and are fighting to keep their talents back home to develop the country. Reason while after high school, students have an obligatory one-year course at the Hamad bin Khalifa University, which will aid them to choose the field they want to study in the university. The Northwestern University of Qatar is one of the higher institutions of learning found within the Education City. The university that was opened in 2008 is specialized in journalism and strategic communication. During a guided tour of the training studio of the institution, Mr. Hamad, who is in charge of techniques, presented to us a state-of-art studio which is used to train the students of the university. The studio, which is adapted to the latest information technology, can't go live because of lack of license, but most students after their 4 years training pick up juicy jobs with big TV channels. From the Northwestern University, we drove to the Qatar Science and Technology Park, a facility comprising of 45,000 square meters of office and laboratory space. The Qatar Science and Technology Park provides incubation, funding, training, mentorship and connection to the regional and global tech innovation ecosystems. The QSPT has as one duty to search for startups which they follow up and link them to business operators. These startups, we are told, are not disturbed by taxes when their business are still in the early stages. Apart from having top-notch institutions of higher learning, the Education City has the Al Shakab Equine Center that hosted international horse race, and the Education City Stadium, which is one of the venues of the FIFA World Cup. Generally, the educational system in Qatar is jointly directed and controlled by the Supreme Educational Council and the Ministry of Education and Higher Education at all levels.
Interesting, sir. Smart. Thank you so much for that report, which brings us to the end of this edition of the news on Equinoxe Television. Thank you, viewers, for always being there. Don't go away. Julien Bedbisai will be with you. That would be at 8 p.m. for the news in the French language. Bye-bye for now and see you tomorrow, God willing.